everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Marla and I am a holistic nutrition student, and today I am going to be talking about digestion and the importance of good digestion, and then I will also give you some tips on how to improve it effectively and efficiently. So let's just get into the video. So I just want to start by saying that bad digestion is the root cause of most disease, because what happens is if you have bad digestion, you will not be breaking down your food properly, which means you will not be absorbing nutrients like you should. You will not be assimilating these nutrients, and you will also have, which can lead to malnutrition, and you will also have poor elimination of toxins. So you'll have lots of toxins, like, you know, sitting in your body for a long period of time, which kind of throws all of your organs out of balance. So I'm going to just share with you my top tips on how to improve your digestion, and that will improve your health significantly overall. And that is the first step you should do in any type of protocol to rebalance the body. Whether you're trying to fight candida or heal psoriasis, etc., you need to work on your digestion, because that is where everything begins. You can take all the supplements and all this stuff that you want, and if your digestion system is not working properly, you will not be actually absorbing the nutrients from these supplements, and you'll pretty much just be wasting money. So digestion begins in the mouth, and your mouth contains a saliva, so it's an alkaline juice, I guess, and it contains enzymes, and these enzymes are meant to start breaking down carbs. So when you are eating, normal people, at least I do this a lot, you eat in a rush or on the go when you're driving or running after a kid. You're like scarfing down food so fast, and you're not really thinking about actually chewing the food. So we are just swallowing big clumps of food and not actually chewing it, and what happens is, when the carbs and things are not starting to get broken down in our mouths, they go into our stomach, and that our stomach has to work that much harder to break down the food. And then chances are they're not going to be broken down enough in the stomach because they weren't broken down enough in the mouth, and they're going to go into the intestines. And your intestines are going to have big particles of food when everything should be pureed at this point. And the food is just going to take that much longer to digest and get broken down. So it'll be sitting in your intestine, and the bad bacteria and microbes will start to feed off of it, and that will cause the food to ferment in your gut, and that's what causes the bloating and the gas. And it's a fuel source for the bad bacteria, so that's when the bad bacteria will start to overgrow and start thriving in that bad environment. And there's your root cause of so many diseases. And leaky gut will occur, etc., etc. So like I said, digestion begins in the mouth. So the most important thing you need to do when you're eating is, number one, don't eat when you're stressed. That kind of puts a halt on your digestive system, because your sympathetic nervous system will kick in, and blood is no longer rushed towards your intestines where to focus on digesting food. Instead, it is rushed to your muscles, so you can fight or flee. And like I said, digestion is kind of put on hold, which is not what you want. So you should be eating when you are relaxed, and I am so bad for doing that. I always eat when I'm stressed, so I've really been working on trying to be calm around mealtime, and if I'm not, I just won't eat until I'm calm or relaxed. So that could be a tip to look into. But yeah, the first and most important thing is to sit down when you are relaxed and then chew your food. I say chew minimum of 30 times per bite, and it's so hard for me because sometimes I'll chew 3-4 times and I'm like, that's good enough, and I just want to swallow, and that is it, and get my meal done really quick. But you can't do that. So try at least 30 times. They say sometimes like you should be chewing 72 times, but the more you chew, the more saliva your mouth will produce, which is what you want. You want those enzymes you want a lot of those enzymes to help break down the food. And when you swallow the food, you'll be swallowing the saliva along with those enzymes. And they say the longer you chew, especially carbs, because carbs start getting broken down in the mouth from your alkaline saliva. They say the longer you chew your carbs, the sweeter they get. So the more you chew you'll get to taste the food more and better, and it'll kind of be more enjoyable. So start with chewing your food really well. That's the number one important thing for digestion. And the second thing, like I said, is try not to be stressed around meal times. And the third thing that you need to do is I would highly recommend taking digestive enzymes with every meal. And pretty much how it works is if you take the enzyme, right after a meal, those enzymes will help break down that food that you just consumed. And if you take digestive enzymes between meals, those enzymes will go through your bloodstream, through your body and your bloodstream, and actually end up cleansing instead. So either way is good. I will usually do, you know, if I have a big meal, I'll take the enzyme after my meal. But if it's not a big meal, then I'll take the enzymes before, and that'll kind of help cleanse and, you know, provide my body with a lot of, you know, good quality digestive juices. So yeah, taking a digestive enzyme is really important. And if you're eating a meal with high protein, I recommend taking betaine hydrochloric acid, provided you do not have like stomach ulcers. So you can go on Google and just look up symptoms of low HCl. And it's usually things like bloating. Actually, if you have heartburn, that's usually a cause of, you know, having low stomach acid. So there's symptoms. If you have some of those, you might benefit from taking, you know, some hydrochloric acid, only with protein-containing meals, because protein needs the acid. Carbs don't need so much acid. So yeah, just before protein meals, it can help. It helps me a lot. The next thing you want to do is really keep your meals smaller. Don't have a mountain. I know some people are busy and they have time for 1 or 2 meals a day, so at those meals it's like a mountain of food. Try to avoid doing that, because that just puts so much strain on your stomach. Your stomach cannot digest that much food efficiently, and it can't churn the food efficiently in the stomach if it's so overloaded, and that, as a result, you know, you'll have undigested food particles going into your intestines, big clumps of food, and that's what's going to cause the gas and bloating and stuff. So try to chew your food, take digestive enzymes and hydrochloric acid if you need it, and have smaller meals, more frequently and smaller meals. And that being said, it's not that you can't have a large meal, it's just sometimes people overdo it at meals and they don't stop when they feel satisfied. They just keep eating. They kind of want to finish those last couple bites on the plate, and I'm definitely, I do that all the time. So not pointing the finger at all, but just saying that that's what we tend to do. So try to keep your meals smaller. It'll be so much easier for your stomach to digest. And if you have big meals, there's not enough stomach acid and juices to help break down the food properly. But if you have smaller meals, then there should be a sufficient amount, and, you know, things are good. Another thing too, do not drink water or any type of fluid right before a meal, or during, or directly after. Don't have a dinner and then go have a tea right after, because that kind of like mellows out the digestive juices and kind of dilutes it, and your stomach just is now too alkaline to actually break down all the food that you're consuming, and that will also cause gas and bloating. So if you need something, just kind of sip some lemon water, put water with a lot of lemon in it, and just sip it here and there if you really need a drink during dinner. But I just try to stay away from all beverages during my meals and directly after. And then the next thing you can look into, if you have very bad digestion, you have leaky gut and IBS, and you also have heartburn all the time and so much bloating, that means your digestion's really, really bad. You will really benefit from food combining. Not forever, just until your digestive system is up and running efficiently again. Food combining, I'm probably gonna make a separate video on this. I've said that before. I just haven't got around to it, but I will probably do that. But it's pretty much where you don't want to combine your protein with a starch. You don't want to combine like fruit and meat. That's a big, big, big no-no. You don't want to have sugar with protein. And pretty much the reason for that is that protein takes a long time to break down in the stomach. It could take like 4 hours sometimes, depending on how much you eat, how well you chew, etc. So protein takes a while to break down, while things like fruit or carbs get broken down really quick. So what happens is when the food is all eaten together in your stomach, and your stomach broke down the carbs really, really quick, but the protein is not ready yet, well, your little sphincter is going to open up, your food's going to go into your duodenum, but along with that will be your undigested proteins from your meat. And that's going to go into your intestines. It's going to start to ferment, sit there, be food source for the bad bacteria, like I mentioned earlier. And then it will also cause leaky gut, because undigested proteins will penetrate through the gut lining, go into your bloodstream, and cause autoimmune disorders and so many other things. So food combining is important, because if you are eating, you know, 1 or 2 food groups at each meal and small amounts, your body will be able to fully break that down before it your stomach will be able to fully break it down before it releases it into your duodenum and the rest of your intestine. So I usually will do, like, an example of a good food combining meal would be a protein like a salmon or a chicken or something with lots of veggies. no squashes or sweet potatoes, something like zucchinis and a nice salad and maybe some Brussels sprouts. Or you could do some wild rice with yogurt, or wild rice, or like oatmeal, for instance, with some, healthy fats. Or you could do meat with healthy fats, or a big salad with healthy fats. You could do veggies with fats. So just as long as you're avoiding meat and fruit, or meat and like starches, you should be pretty good. And like I said, it won't be forever. It'll just be until your digestive system is efficient again. And when it's efficient, you should have no problem combining all sorts of foods, and your body should be able to handle it. But for me anyways, I never let my kids have like a fruit directly after dinner. Sometimes I do, but most of the time I just don't let them have fruit right after dinner, and I don't let them have like a dessert directly after dinner either, because that sugar is going to get digested way too fast, and then their dinner won't be getting digested properly. And then another problem is when you're not digesting your food, you're not getting the nutrients from that food. It's not broken down enough, so you're not going to be getting all those amino acids or the vitamins or minerals or whatever from that food that you ate. And as a result, you'll be malnourished. So you could be eating as healthy as you want. You can be the healthiest person in terms of diet in the world, but you could be the sickest and most malnourished person if your digestive system is really weak. So yeah, just really be careful with the foods you're combining until you're fixed, until your digestive system is functioning efficiently. Then you can start to bring foods back in together. And yeah, so another thing too, it really helps if you have in your intestines, if you have too much mucus. So if you're having too many dampening foods, your intestines will secrete a mucus, and you want some mucus in your intestines because that prevents, things leaking into the bloodstream, which is good. But if you have too much mucus, it also prevents nutrients from being absorbed through the little microvilli that are in your intestines. So if there's a big coating of mucus in your intestines, food's going to go through without actually getting absorbed. I'm going to say nutrients are going to go through without actually getting absorbed into your bloodstream. While if you have less mucus, then it'll prevent things from seeping into your bloodstream, like undigested proteins, but vitamins and minerals and stuff should be able to go through, which is what you want. So a good thing to do as well is take a licorice root capsule or aloe vera gel, maybe half hour before your meals, and that will balance the mucus levels in your intestines. So if there's too much, it'll bring it down. If there's too little, it'll increase it. So licorice root's really good for kind of just coating the intestines and rebalancing those mucus levels. Which is really critical for the proper absorption of nutrients and things like that. So I think that's it for all my tips in terms of digestion. One last thing I want to say is you need to have a significant consumption of fiber in your diet. You can't live off of just proteins and fats, or just like lots of carbs and not enough fiber. A lot of things contain fiber, but you need a good amount of insoluble and soluble fiber in order to have proper elimination of toxins. If you're eating your food really quick, it's not getting broken down in your stomach, it's going into your intestine and it's sitting there for a few days fermenting and causing bloating, you're not eliminating, and all those toxins that are getting released from the bad microbes that are feeding off of that food are going to be sitting in your intestines and going into your bloodstream and all other parts of your body. So you want to make sure that you have proper elimination. 1 to 2 bowel movements a day is ideal. Anything less than that would be considered constipation, and you should really look into upping your fiber intake and your liquid intake. So my favorite thing to do is I will throw flax seeds in my smoothies. I love eating things like wild rice. Those are really good sources of fiber because they're hard enough that they're going to get things moving in your intestines, and they're also packed with lots of B vitamins and things like that. I love adding psyllium to my baking and using it as like an egg replacer because first of all, it's vegan. So if you can't have eggs, that's a good idea, but psyllium is really good for getting things moving along, and it's a good source of soluble fiber. So there's definitely things you could do, and then drinking a plenty of water. You need to be flushing out those toxins, and your intestines need that water to kind of help break down the food and aid peristalsis and all of that to get everything out of the body. So as long as you're drinking about minimum 2 liters of liquid a day, preferably water and herbal tea, and lots of fiber, and doing these steps that I mentioned, like taking digestive enzymes, you know, or after meals, and maybe taking hydrochloric acid before a meal if you need it, taking licorice root half hour before a meal to like balance the mucus levels, chewing your food, don't eat when you're stressed, do food combining, have smaller portions. If you follow these steps, your digestion is going to improve significantly, and you will notice that you're going to start detoxing just from doing that alone. And candida, another thing too I want to just quickly touch, and it's not about, this video is not about candida, but you can't get candida overgrowth and parasites in the first place if your digestion is efficient. So if your stomach acid is sufficient, it will kill any parasites, and they will die before they actually get into your intestines, so they won't be able to breed. If you have proper digestion and your food is getting broken down efficiently, you should not have food particles that are just sitting in your intestines to ferment, which means candida and bad microbes will not have a fuel source, so they can't overgrow. You always have a small amount of bad microbes and candida, and that's kind of, you know, a part of your microbiome, which we need. But when you start providing them with excess food sources, then they will start to feed off of that. So yeah, if you are digesting your food correctly and breaking down the food, there will not be particles of food sitting in your intestines fermenting, and your bad bacteria will not have that fuel source, and they will not be able to overgrow. So it is crucial to make sure your digestive system is functioning properly, as that is the start for good health and for you know, absorbing nutrients and all that. So yeah, it's so important, and I can guarantee that if you just follow these steps, you will notice a significant improvement. But yeah, I guess that's all I have for this video. If you like videos like this, then give it a thumbs up. I just really wanted to talk about digestion because it is something that a lot of people don't think about. They think about cleansing and they think about rebalancing the body in every way, but they never start at the basics and think about something as simple as chewing your food thoroughly, or however you say that. I can never say that word. Or, you know, just taking like digestive enzymes and food combining. They always just look at the, I guess, the bigger picture, but it all starts with the digestive system. So yeah, that's what I have for today. Super informal, just chatty video, but wanted to let you guys know that there are things you can do to improve your digestion, which in turn will improve your overall health. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you aren't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and yeah, I will see you in my next video. Bye.